5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Breakdown Podcast. Returning guest, Alex Stanford. Alex, welcome back.
Hey, Matt. Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
If I was a better podcaster, I would have had the show notes from the last episode. I think we were just talking about what you were up to with Siren Affiliates and how you use Gravity Forms in some of your consulting work.
Yeah.
For folks that don't know, sirenaffiliates.com. We're going to talk mostly about that today because you're now incorporating Gravity Forms into that product, which is amazing to hear.
Yeah.
But as we sort of wrap up the year, how are you balancing consulting work and product work? Are we doing more product than consulting, more consulting than product? What's it look like for you?
Yeah. So for the past, I'd say 6 to 8 months of this year, I've really been honing in on making the business more Siren, my business more Siren centric is what I've been saying. So all of my decisions are being driven by, how is my business going to grow so that it's more product focused. So a lot of that obviously is focusing on growing Siren itself and growing my customer base and all of those things. But in addition to that, I'm also still doing consulting work and things like that. But I've been trying to leverage Siren as much as I can to, one, find those potential clients that I'm working with, and then also, of course, extending Siren and creating systems that leverage Siren for my clients.
Now, I know you were also you had multiple products. You've done multiple products. You have multiple products. Is Siren still the leading one that most of the attention goes to?
Yeah, everything ends up revolving around it in some way, shape, or form. So whether it's extending it or enhancing it or whatever I'm doing these days, it's always in service of either leveraging Siren as a use case or expanding on it and building it in new and unique ways.
Yeah. And I have to ask, because I'm sure maybe we'll get into it, but I have to ask, what's the impact of AI on your work? You and I probably talked about it, earlier this year when you're on, but I'm curious, has it started to impact sort of like the customer facing stuff, like customers going, oh, hey, why don't you just add this? I mean, you have AI, just add this to the product. Or do I really need this product because maybe I can build it myself? What's your vibe, no pun intended, on AI right now?
Yeah, I think AI is an excellent tool. And I think that I haven't ran into situations where I've had customers say that they could just simply build what I'm doing instead. Now, that doesn't mean they're not, right? Of course, that doesn't mean they're not. But and I would even say if you've got a super dead simple affiliate program and you don't really care about long-term maintenance or anything like that, which to be honest, everybody does, but you probably could vibe code something, but the problem always comes down to, for me, it's always the maintenance. It's maintaining it long-term, making sure that it continues to function, and things along those lines. And also just the peace of mind, knowing that somebody's keeping an eye on it. But in terms of my own personal productivity, it's had a very, very good impact. I've been able to effectively, I've really just started using, really in the last, I'd say month, I've really started to leverage AI directly in my IDE, my code editor and all that stuff, and truly, starting to leverage that. And fortunately, Siren's built in a really good way, so it's documented and set up. So I had to do the foundation myself, but now AI is allowing me to be able to do extensions and do things like that a lot better. Something I'm really looking forward to is as I'm getting better with these things, I'm starting to create better documentation for Siren in all of my tools. And what's really powerful about that is that means that other people, if they need to extend Siren or leverage Siren, they would be able to do so as well. But I think that whenever I think of Siren, I think of it in a lot of ways as a platform on top of a platform, on the same way that you would look at, WooCommerce or some kind of foundational tool. It's a foundational tool for partnerships and things like that. So I don't so much think about AI as being something that's going to replace Siren as much as it being a fulcrum to help people extend Siren and create partnerships in more powerful ways.
One of the interesting things that came out of if you've been following WordPress deeply and not just the state of the word that just passed, is the abilities API that's coming into WordPress core, and it's going to unlock a lot of like this, what I'll call like the glue to AI, right? Theoretically, from a 50,000 foot view, one might be able to connect their Chat GPT or Claude account up to their, mom and pop WordPress website and say, do some things for me. Hey, AI, go in and clean up my blog posts or install this plugin. I'm wondering who's going to be holding the ball for support when customers are like, hey, I asked ChatGPT to talk to Siren and then grab all my Gravity Forms entries and then make a graph for me on this blog post page. And it doesn't work. Then what? Like, who has to solve for that?
Yeah.
It's a scary proposition. It's an exciting proposition, but it's also like, where's the support land and something like that?
Yeah. There's a part of me that wonders, it just sounds like one of those things where somebody would just throw more AI at it. So oh, okay. So I'll have your robot talk to my robot and, we'll figure it out. I don't know how far out we are from that. I'm definitely watching the abilities API in general. It's still a little bit early for me to really go all in on it, but I'm very much intrigued, obviously, because Siren's superpower is its integrations. So of course I'm watching it closely. And I think that there's a lot of, definitely a lot of potential, especially in terms of working with it, with AI. I could see, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin. Like just starting with the simplest things of describing the program that you want. And it says, oh, here's the different incentive programs that you would need to put together in Siren. And it would just do it. That's the simplest term. But I mean, imagine if you're able to chain stuff together and say, I'm creating this incentive program. Here's how I want to do it. And it designs it. And then it looks at, your customers in the past for WooCommerce. It grabs their email address. It constructs a message to send them and says, hey, would you like to join our partnership program? And it just 100% does that. You know what I mean? And if they say yes or whatever, it automatically adds them to the system. It gets them signed up. It sends them their incentive program URL. There's a lot that could be done with that in the future. And I'm definitely excited about it. But I'm definitely just I'm watching. I'm just see where it goes and see how the adoption goes. And also I just kind of want to experiment with it. I have to understand how it works myself before I can, confidently give it to my customers and say, here you go.
Yeah. I mean, to me, again, not to get too deep in the weeds of this stuff, but I've been building a plugin myself, and I started thinking like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to, get on the forefront of this stuff and start leveraging the abilities API? But then I was like, I kind of feel like it's like almost like opening the door to the unknown for that end user. And that's the part where I'm kind of like wrestling in my head. No official abilities API from Gravity Forms just yet. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of unapologetically hiding behind some of the bigger players for sure.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna let everybody else who's got the resources figure it out, figure out the kinks, and see how it goes, and then put something together basically based on that.
SirenAffiliates.com. The integrations you said are key to the success of Siren. You have WooCommerce, Easy Digital Downloads, North Commerce, Lifter LMS, and now Gravity Forms.
Yep.
Before we hit record, you mentioned that this is not just an affiliate plugin. This is something where you can incentivize folks to work with you. Can you unpack that a little bit more and how you differentiate from your typical affiliates program to an incentivized program?
Sure. So pretty much every business out there has some kind of idea of what I call a collaborator, right? This could be a venture partner. This could be a formal partnership. This could be an affiliate. It could be a vendor. There's all kinds of these different words that we use for people who collaborate with us, who work with us in some way to help our business grow. So Siren's entire goal is to build what I call an incentive program builder. It's an incentive program builder, and it lets you build any kind of incentive program that is designed to be used with those people. So I'll give you a more abstract example. So let's take a look at, say, Uber or Lyft, right? They have an incentive program, right? The incentive program is if you drive and you do this delivery, I will pay you this much money, right? It's a fixed amount of money. You're paid for performance. So the drivers in that context are the collaborators, and of course Uber is the business itself. So I'm looking at things like that, not just obviously you could do affiliate programs and you can do sales programs and things like that, but it's more than that. Anytime you ever have a partnership or any kind of connection where you need to track performance from somebody and pay them some amount of money based on that performance, Siren is a go-to for that. And it isn't even just monetary, right? It could even be if you took a step back and said, maybe I have a refer a friend program, right? And instead of paying people with money, I'm paying them with, points or some kind of internal currency that you have in your system that you can then turn around and use for discounts. Like I think about a lot of grocery stores where they have those reward systems and stuff like that. So it can leverage kind of things along those lines as well.
Does it always have to be, and this is going to unpack to another question, but does it always have to be a monetary transaction that Siren sees on the website? Does it always have to be fixed to like a transaction that happens on the website? And let me frame it a little bit better so that the listener and maybe you can get it a little bit more. I'm thinking, wow, wouldn't this be great to have an incentive program for a WordPress agency? Mm-hmm. But WordPress agency, if I'm charging $5,000 to $10,000, maybe I'm not transacting that through Gravity Forms, right? Everything. Could I still use Siren at that capacity to track somebody's points if I wanted to have somebody refer business to me?
Yeah, you actually touched on a really interesting thing that makes, again, Siren unique here is it has a concept called distributors. And basically what those do is it allows you to, instead of paying people, associating things directly with transactions, you can associate actions that happened over time and pay based on that. So I'll give you an example. So let's say you have a salesperson, maybe you have a team of salespeople and you want those salespeople to direct traffic to Gravity Forms or their form on Gravity Forms for leads, right? And you want to pay them, right? The tricky part about paying for leads is if you just shovel a whole bunch of garbage there, you're paying for garbage. Anybody who's ever done ads on Facebook or something like that with improper targeting knows you're basically just lighting your money on fire, right? But if you have good quality leads, it can be a real good boon. So what you can do is you can say, I want to pay these people to get leads to fill out this form, right? And what I'm going to do is instead of paying them every time they get a lead, I'm going to create a revenue share where once a month I pay out a percentage of the total amount of revenue what the business made for the month. And the amount of money I pay to each salesperson is directly proportionate to how many leads they brought in that past month. So that's just kind of one example. So you can disconnect that transaction from the actual act itself. Another example is another revenue share that I've seen a lot of people do in the LMS space, the learning management space, is they'll have multiple course creators or content creators, and they'll pay a revenue share, a share of the memberships from the past month based on which course creators got the most engagement from the people which course creators had the most customers complete their lessons and things like that. So Siren can track those actions over time and then pay a distribution based on their score.
The wheels are turning in my head and I'm going to paint a picture. I want to paint a couple of pictures. Sure. Number one, pretend you know somebody that has a WordPress podcast. I don't know who this person is.
Okay.
But let's just pretend they do.
Okay.
But they have a free newsletter. Could there be a thing with Siren? Because I use Gravity Forms. Did I say me? I meant that person.
That person. Yeah. Right.
That person uses Gravity Forms to get them on a newsletter. Could you have like this fun points system where like the most people that refer people to sign up to this newsletter, and then like, I don't know, I get them buy them lunch or something like that? Like, could we score them and track that kind of thing? Or does the payout always have to be cash on the other side?
No, you can actually specify any kind of currency you want in the system. It comes with just all the normal currencies, but out of the box, it supports multi-currency. So if you had multiple programs, because you can run multiple programs in Siren, so it has to support multiple currencies too. So if you wanted to create your own custom currency that's, podcaster points or whatever you want to call them, right? And you want to make that, maybe it attributes directly to some kind of coupon discounts on your site or something like that, or whatever, right? There's so many different ways you could take that. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. And then it would track, here's how much money you owe this person in dollars, how much you owe them in, these points that you've created in your system. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. To just backtrack to that agency example, I think what I'm hearing is that let's say you have a team of folks that are helping you sell, or you want to build your own sort of like referral system program with like your local network of business owners. Mm-hmm. Is the plumbing like to have a landing page? Let's use Gravity Forms in this context. Have a landing page for each individual representative and say, if you want to earn these points or get some commission from me, send them to the landing page that we have, and that gravity form is there, and that's what Siren is tracking. Is that the foundation of like how that would be set up?
So there's a couple different ways that Siren can actually track who to credit. The first one is an affiliate link, right? So a referral code, and that's in the end of the URL. The second one is what you were just saying. You can actually create a form and associate it with a specific collaborator, a specific person. So what's really cool about that is then if you have like a very important, a sales team or something like that, you can create a landing page for each of them individually and give them their own form and and set it up. And then if that form gets filled out, beyond any shadow of doubt who it was. So what's interesting though, is you can actually take that a step further, and with Gravity Forms' e-commerce capabilities, you can actually associate the individual product fields in Gravity Forms with the collaborator, so that if that product is sold, they get credit. So this kind of flips the script. So we've been talking about sales and intake, but what if you had a whole bunch of vendors that you wanted to keep track of how much you owe them or something like that? Like maybe you're you are creating a booking form for a wedding venue, right? And you have upsells on your Gravity form or something like that, a photography, videography, all these other different things, catering, stuff like that. And you want to build it in as a product, but you outsource that to a photographer or something like that. You could set it up to where those different fields in Gravity forms are associated with a collaborator. In this case, that would be the photographer or those other vendors. And once that form gets filled out, Siren will automatically say, oh, hey, you owe this much money to this person because they are taking this, and then it'll track all of that for you. So there's, on the flip side, there's this whole other way of tracking that doesn't just involve, like you were saying with the landing page and the affiliate links and things like that.
Yeah, I was just looking at the features page over on sirenaffiliates.com for Gravity Forms, and I see, there's tons of things that it can do with Gravity Forms. I like some of the stuff you were just talking about, like route applicants into different programs automatically. Like, the more and more, obviously, it's why we have you on the podcast to learn more about this stuff. But the more and more, like, I hear you talking about it and reading this stuff, I'm like, wow, this thing goes well beyond just like give me a link that says ref equals and then here it is and I get 10%, whatever. Like, this thing is doing some serious stuff, and I love the fact that you're not just focused on what's my commission, what's my affiliate payout. Like this can build richer things. Do you have any nonprofit examples in your work so far with this? It might be too early on, but a lot of folks use Gravity Forms for donations and nonprofits and nonprofit sponsorships. Have you run into that at all yet in your case studies?
I haven't ran into a case study for it, unfortunately. I'd love to. I think that there's a lot of opportunities there, especially because the money is usually pretty tight in those contexts. So this is a great opportunity for that. I just think about good old fashioned fundraisers like the kids do with candy bars and stuff like that. There's rev share opportunities there where you don't have to pay for the stuff up front. You're paying based on how much you need. There's so many different ways that I think Siren could really help with that. I just haven't had an opportunity to go deep with anybody on that.
The website looks a little bit different than when we chatted a while ago. What went down? It looks great. It looks great. I didn't mind it before either. I'm just saying, like, it looks like you're leveling it up a bit.
Yeah. So I got I went to WordCamp after building that initial version of the site, and I got some feedback on it. And just generally, I just didn't love what I had so far. It was just kind of my first iteration. I had to get something out the door. It was just me. And I realized I needed help, so I hired a designer, and they were just amazing. And they worked with me, and they built this awesome S-shaped logo that has two fishing hooks that look like they're shaking hands. And I loved the branding, and it just kind of inspired me a lot. I looked at it, I was like, man, I can really build a cool site with this. And I installed I actually used Ollie Pro for this site, and had something put together, a couple of weeks later. And ever since then, I've just been kind of incrementally improving it, but it's definitely probably my favorite web design I've ever done. I really had a lot of fun with it.
Now, you did all this design yourself? You just took the logo from the designer and built on top of that, or your designer?
They gave me a design brief. So it was probably about, I'd say 40% of it. And
Yeah.
then but it was enough for me to kind of take it from there. And I just, I started playing with gradients and just imagined that the entire website's underwater.
Yeah.
And with that, with that idea in mind, it just kind of fell together.
Yeah, you could have leaned in a whole different direction with the underwater metaphor, with folks drowning in their work. But I like the more tasteful approach that you went with instead of the first car salesman thing that pops into my head, which is just muscle memory.
Relatable.
Yeah, you WordCamp. I want to talk about that. I think we talked about this the last time, but I just want to see where your mindset's at. I feel like affiliates and incentive programs, not a thing that you get a lot of warm hugs at a WordCamp, right? I think a lot of people in our space are very a little bit more insular. They're very maybe against marketing, and not against, but maybe a little bit afraid to like push in that direction. Whereas you can go to, there's probably a gazillion like affiliate conferences that you can go to.
Yeah.
What's that like on your radar? I can imagine it's a lot more expensive than going to WordCamps.
Yeah, it's definitely more expensive than WordCamp. It's but the ones that I've seen haven't been quite as bad as I thought. But I haven't really hit the affiliate space too terribly hard outside of WordPress, outside of these conversations, just because I'm trying it because I have that same ick that everybody that you're talking about, that you're seeing and you're experiencing. I've been in the WordPress space for a long time as well. And I have that same, I don't know, it's so inauthentic, and I'm very big on authenticity. So, but what I do see in the WordPress space a lot, and I've experienced myself, and I'm sure you have too, we are a tight-knit community. We are a very network focused community where we're big on networking, connecting, and things along those lines. So my inspiration for a lot of this plugin has revolved around my own experience in the WordPress space, not so much the affiliate space. So, for me, I think about Siren less as, just being an affiliate plugin where it's all about things like, the bigger plugins where it's like, they're not so much focused on the different types of programs or partnerships you can create. They're more focused on finding the affiliate. You know what I mean? And finding these people who are by profession selling stuff for a living, and that's all they do. And that's just not, I don't feel like that's WordPress in a lot of ways. I'm obviously, there's definitely people out there who make good living on it, but for me, it's more about authentic connections. So that's something I talk about a lot on the website and a lot to people in general is, 10 really good affiliates is all you need. Every affiliate program, every person I talk to who's running a good sized affiliate program, it's the same story. It's, I have 1,200 affiliates on my site. I have 800. And then the next question I ask them is, okay, how many of them are selling anything? And they'll say 10, 12, So my challenge to that is, why go find 1,200 bad affiliates when you can just go find the right 10?
So let me put you on the hot seat a little bit. Okay. The affiliate program for Siren, if I were you, I'd have that right on the top of the page, right? Yours is in the footer. It's on the affiliates, right? I mean, that's where I found it. Is that the main call to action? How do you want people to avoid the 1,200? Well, I guess if you're listening to this, you can go sign up to become an affiliate, right? Like if you like what Alex is talking about and you like the product, it's a great place to refer it. So how do you shape how people maybe present the Siren affiliates? Because I can imagine, I see both sides of that coin. I don't do any affiliate stuff, right? Only because it's just like a performance thing, and it's like the traditional like 30% affiliate thing. Like, oh, sell this product, make a bunch of content, push to it. I like this partnership thing that you're talking about. How can I earn more for the hard work that I do, not just your 30% off the top?
Yep.
So how do you shape that with Siren? Because I think that's a lot of it. People just sign up hoping to make 30%, then they never do it. And then that product never reaches out to the person to say, here's how you can present us better. Like, here's how you can actually earn more money.
Yep.
And I think that's where I struggle.
So honestly, the Gravity Forms integration is kind of a part of that equation for me. I guess I should jump to the philosophy before I jump to the solution. But for me, I look at it as, like I said, if I focus on 10 to 12 great affiliates, right? So, and I also think of my affiliate program as a product in the same way I look as a product. And just like your product, you have a funnel, you have a journey for these people, right? So a public facing program does make sense because it allows you to find people. It allows you to potentially vet them, and you can figure out which ones are the good ones, the ones that are ready to run with you and a really good fit for your program and stuff like that. So it gives you an opportunity to still have that conversation with people, right? You want to make sure that people can still approach you about it, and you want them to know that you have something and you want to work with them. And an affiliate page is a great way to do that. But one of the things that comes to mind for me that you said there that jumps out is, like I said, it's a product. So there's still marketing, there's still sales, there's still touch points and connections and things like that, right? There's stuff that you have to do on your end of this deal as the product owner to help them succeed. So one of the biggest reasons why I'm personally excited about the Gravity Forms integration is because I'm a Gravity Forms user, and what I've been doing is every time I get an affiliate, I'm manually adding them into my CRM, and I'm adding all their data. And I got tired of doing it. And I was like, well, I've been telling Matt for a while that I'm going to do a Gravity Forms integration because it integrates with my CRM, it integrates with all these tools. And as long as I set Siren up so that it can pass that information to Gravity Forms, I've now unlocked the ability to add all of my affiliates into my CRM, complete with their affiliate link and all that other information. And all the other powerful things that Gravity Forms can integrate with. So that allowed me to, now I can automate that. So if somebody signs up with the form, I approve them, they automatically get added into my mailing list. Their affiliate link is there. It can automatically send the email and allow me to kind of have those touch points that you're talking about.
Wheels are turning again. So you have, we'll extend the interview just a little bit longer. You have integration with Lifter LMS. Mm-hmm. Is it feasible to say that somebody takes a course, like you have an affiliate education program powered by Lifter LMS. They take the course, they pass the course, maybe their percentage goes up a little bit, like what they earn. Like maybe is that a thing in Siren Land where if they pass a course, they get more? No, see, this is good.
Yeah,
like
it's absolutely a thing.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. So again, just for the listener, to frame of reference here is the reasons that Alex just said about having, affiliate sites with 1,200 people on it, nobody's selling anything, no one's doing anything except for maybe 10. My sort of distaste for just doing affiliate stuff for the sake of doing affiliate stuff. If you can build an enriched program, use something like Lifter, right? Yep. LMS, fantastic LMS. We use it at Gravity Forms. I use it personally to build these courses, these modules to level up your affiliates and have them earn more money. And only the ones that are actually taking the time to take a course and learn this stuff are going to be the ones that earn the most, as it should be. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it and been having a lot of fun just thinking about it. But
SirenAffiliates.com, you can get yours now. I won't mention the price. It is discounted right now. Don't know how long that's going to last. But SirenAffiliates.com, check it out. It's worth every penny, especially if you're an agency owner and you're looking to get more referrals. I remember running my local agency. Everything's word of mouth at that level. You're going to BNI meetups. You're going to all of these, what do you call it? The Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, now there's like startup incubators everywhere across the country. You can start networking with these people, building out referral programs and incentive programs with them. And you'll start earning more money as an agency owner. And then sky's the limit if you're a product owner. Check it out. SirenAffiliates.com, SirenAffiliates.com. Alex, thanks for hanging out today.
Hey, thanks, Matt.
That's it for today's episode. If you could do one more thing for me today, share this episode on social media, your favorite Facebook group or Discord channel. Spread the word about this podcast. It really helps. If you haven't added Breakdown to your favorite podcast app, point your browser to gravityforms.com/breakdown and click the icon of your app to add us and listen to us every 2 weeks. Okay, we'll see you in the next episode.